There, everyone. My name is Jimmy Spiropoulos. I'm a customer success coach here with Bright MLS. I want to thank you for joining me today. We are going to be looking at the map features within our search function. I'm a very visual individual, and I comprehend information a little bit better when I'm able to see it, kind of in a map form. And I really like some of the tools that we have here within the Bright Map. So real quick, I'm actually going to show you one of my favorites. So normally when you come into Bright and you jump into the map, you're going to be viewing the map probably in this manner. So if you actually scroll down to the area that you're going to be doing business in, probably the areas that you mostly want to create searches in, you can actually scroll down and click on the little gear icon, right? And we're going to set this map as my starting default view, right? So now, anytime I go back into a search, right, we're going to go jump back into our residential sale and click on map. Our view is going to be in this area here. So it's just a really easy way of kind of setting that default for yourself if you know that you're going to be looking at the map, in a certain area most of the time. One of the things that I want to talk about first is the InRex drive time. If you're not aware about this, this is a cool tool because as we kind of move into 2024 and moving forward, I think we're going to see a little bit more of a push for folks to kind of go back into the office for work, right? I don't think it's going to be full time, but I think that we're going to see some kind of hybrid variation of a work life. And so folks are used to having a commute that is very short, meaning, their home office. And so going back into an office setting, they might not have, the want or need for a long commute. So that might be a big push for your clients when they're looking at creating their searches. So the index drive time is really helpful in that where it will create the boundaries based off of your client's search, right? So I'm going to pull up an address here and we're going to click on this index drive time. Looks like a little car with a clock there. And I'm going to enter a location, right? So I'm just using an address that I know. And let's say this is where your client has to commute to every day. Okay. You have the option of choosing to drive to this location or from that location. For this example, I'm going to use drive to this location. Find out what time your client needs to be at work. For this example, I'm going to use 8:45. Okay. We're going to add that in, and then we're going to choose our maximum commute time, right? So some people might say, 30 minutes is a reasonable commute for them, and maybe that's all they have in them on a daily basis. So we're going to add 30 minutes for this example. And then you can do a quick Google search to see, which days are the most traversed in terms of commute in your area. I think here in the DMV where I'm located at, I think they say Wednesday and Thursday generally is the most heavily traversed day as far as commuting goes. So we'll just use Wednesday as an example today. And what I'm going to do is now hit add, but just make sure you got all the information. We've got our destination location. We've chosen it to be our destination, arriving by 8:45 with a 30-minute commute, and we chose Wednesday. So if I click add, what the system has done is actually built out my barrier for you, or my, not barrier, but our radius. Okay, and it's basically telling us that if we want to arrive at this point here within 35 minutes or 30-minute commute of 8:45 on a Wednesday, we want to contain our search in this area here. So it makes it easier for you. You don't have to do the guesswork as to what a commute's going to look like. And then you can just jump into your criteria and add the different fields of information to narrow down your search. So that is one way of using the map that I'm a big fan of. We're going to go ahead and clear this shape, get rid of this. Next thing that I want to talk about is our layers feature. Okay, you can use this here. So you can build out searches within the maps based off of boundaries, MLS statuses, parcel characteristics, trends, points of interest, so on and so forth. So in this example, we're going to use boundaries. You can see some of them are grayed out. If you're seeing this, what you just need to do is scroll further down into the menu, right? Pull that up. Now you can see that that zip is open, right? Parcel is now open, flood zones is now open. Okay, so if you want to search by those grayed out features, just make sure that you're zooming in on the map. But let's say you have a client who's looking for schools, right? Maybe they say that they want their kids to go to a certain school. So we can use the maps to create those search. Okay, so we're going to go into layers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click high schools. Okay, and you can do this for middle schools and elementary schools as well. Close this up. Okay, so now you can see those lines that have been drawn out. And we are using the third-party source to get these maps. So at the end of the day, you still have to do your due diligence to make sure that any properties fall within these boundaries, right? Boundaries change all the time. So just make sure that you're doing your follow-up research. But let's say I have a client who says they want their kids to go to Sherwood High School. I've got Sherwood listed over here. Okay, and I want to isolate this area. So what I'm going to do is hover over to my left. And now I see this hand, right? It's right next to that INREX drive time icon. Okay, we're going to click on that. And then I'm going to highlight Sherwood. So I'm going to click right on Sherwood High. And it's isolated that school for me. Okay. Now what I can do is clean this map up a little bit just because it's easier on the eye. So I'm going to go back into boundaries. And I'll deselect high schools. And now I've got all those properties that fall within that boundary. Okay, so if I want to further narrow things down, I can go into criteria and then add my other filters. But I've got my area already highlighted just using that different map. Maybe you have a client that's opened a different area or a couple of different schools. So we can go back in and add high schools again. Let's close that up. Maybe they're open to Magruder, right? So we can click on that hand again to highlight Magruder High School, right? So now that's added into the mix. Maybe they're open to River Hill High as well. So we're going to click on that hand, click on it again, right? So now we've got these three different schools. We can go back into our layers, deselect the high school, right? Close that out. We're going to just zoom out so I can get a better view. But now we've got all these in here. Okay. Now, another cool thing that you can do, so maybe you had a client that is open to homes in Montgomery County, Maryland, right? So we can go back into our criteria. We can add Montgomery County. All right, let's go ahead and add that in. We're going to go back into our map, right? So I'm just going to get rid of these. Just example, but maybe your client said that they don't want their kids to go to Sherwood High School, but they're open to any other area in Montgomery County. So what I can actually do is highlight over the little pin here, and I can exclude this shape. There we go. So now we're highlighting all the of Montgomery County, but we've excluded homes that fall into the Sherwood district, right? So that's another way of being able to use the maps to kind of disseminate and to add or subtract information here. So then we can go back into our criteria. We can see we've got a ton more matches and then put in the rest of our filters. So really useful tool. I'm a big fan. I'm going to go ahead and just delete this shape. You also have the ability of using our radiuses, right? So we can draw a radius, click on this circle and kind of draw that radius as long as we want. And we're isolating homes in this area. We can also draw radiuses all over the place, and isolate homes in all those different areas. Okay. And again, if you want to exclude those, all you have to do is hover over that red dot, and then we can exclude that shape, right? So homes in this area won't be listed in our search. We can delete it if we want, so on and so forth. So really cool way of using these different shapes to add and subtract to your search. Now we can highlight what it looks like one of those old erasers from middle school. That's going to clear all those shapes. Now you can also draw rectangles, right? So you're going to pick your point and then move your mouse around and add that in. You're going to delete that shape. You can draw a polygon as well. So you just basically, point and click. So we'll start with our point here, move it around. And every time you get to an endpoint, just click. You can create odd shapes, so on and so forth. So it doesn't necessarily need to be like a polygon, but all right, you can add those in here. And for the artistic folks that have a steady hand, which is not me, you can actually freehand exactly. There, draw a circle. There you go, and add that in. It's probably the best circle I've ever drawn on here. I certainly wouldn't have been a surgeon, but you can see how you can use all these different kind of icons here to do different things within the map. So I encourage you all to take a look at this. It's one of my favorite tools when creating searches. Um, and let us know how we're doing. I appreciate you joining me today. I hope you got a little something out of this training today, and definitely reach out to us. Let us know if we can help in any way. And if you need a little bit more help, I'm gonna try to go back home real quick. There we go. You can always meet with any one of the customer success coaches like myself by clicking on this education tab and going to connect with a coach, where you can schedule a 15-minute Zoom session with any one of us, right? Just choose the date and time you want to meet with a customer success coach, right? Choose the date, choose that time, hit next, and fill out the information. It will give you a link that you can jump onto a Zoom and one-on-one with any one of us and ask any questions that are Bright related. So take advantage of that. It's included in your membership. And if you feel like you need a little bit more training, you can always click on the education tab and go to webinars. We have daily webinars on various amounts of topics that are Bright related. So if you need to brush up on your skills or just get acclimated to the system, we got all these great trainings that you can take advantage of. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.